So I just wanted to sort of run through a few things really. First is a recap on the Crown Estate, and I'll keep that very brief. I know a lot of you are familiar with who we are as an organisation, but I think there are some new faces in the room. And then just to give you an update on where we are at the moment. So projects that have been leased to date and other activities the Crown Estate's been involved in. And then looking forward to what the current arrangements are for accessing seabed in the waters around the UK, obviously including Wales. So first of all, just quickly on the Crown Estate. It's a bit of a unique and unusual organisation. It's an independent commercial business that was created by an Act of Parliament. So that means we are a public body, but we're not a part of government. I was pleased to see that we have been correctly colour-coded on the coloured lanyards as a green public body, but we don't fall sort of neatly into any category. But we manage a number of assets on behalf of the UK government, with revenues going to Treasury. So 100% of the profit generated by our sectors goes back to Treasury, and that was 285 million last financial year. Our portfolio is arranged into 4 different chunks at the moment. So the part that's relevant today is the energy, minerals and infrastructure part of the portfolio, which is basically looking after leasing of activities on the seabed. Alongside that, we have a rural and coastal portfolio, and then 2 urban portfolios, one in central London and then a portfolio of regional retail and leisure parks. But it's that energy, minerals and infrastructure portfolio that's relevant, I think, to the people in the room. That in itself has a number of sectors covered. We've been active in offshore wind for about the last 10 years or so. Marine aggregates and cables and pipelines we've provided leases for longer than that. And then wave and tidal, we became active in this sector back in around 2009. And have undertaken a number of different leasing activities and other enabling activities over the years. Alongside that, we have a number of other sectors which are on the bottom there, but perhaps not so relevant today. So in terms of wave and tidal, the support we've given to this sector to date really falls into 3 categories. So there's leasing, offering access to seabed, which I guess is our kind of core business and bread and butter. Facilitation, which is using the unique position we have and the networks that we've developed to bring different parties together to help move the sector forward. And then we have also made a number of direct investments in the sector as well. So on the leasing side, we have actually leased over 50 projects to date, and these are across a range of sizes, types and geographies. Last September, we launched a new approach to leasing, which I'll talk a bit more about in a moment, and that's intended to be much more flexible and hopefully better meeting industry needs for the state of development at the moment. Back in 2014, we also launched our first leasing round for tidal range projects, and the Swansea Bay Tidal Lagoon is obviously going through that process at the moment. On the facilitation side, particularly wanted to mention the Audit for Ocean Energy project as quite a good example of the kind of thing we can do. So the Audit programme is looking to essentially match research priorities with funding for those projects. So unlike the sister programme in offshore wind, there's quite a lot of funding actually available from developers to fund pieces of research. That's not been the case in this sector, but there is funding out there through a number of schemes and different sort of research bodies. Audit tries to identify what those needs are and then find the academic institutions that are able to undertake that research, backed up by thorough evidence of what industry needs are. We've played quite a big part in pulling that together, and it's just completed its pilot phase, which has been deemed to be quite a success. And so at the moment we're trying to get funding, pull funding together to take that forward for a further phase. We've also worked on a project called the Marine Data Exchange. This is looking at acquiring developer data, which we obviously are in a good position to get through our role as landlord, and to make that available to other parties through a web-based database, so that anybody who's looking at developing projects in similar areas or research projects are able to access that data that's been collected by our tenants. The Marine Data Exchange is linked to from our website if anybody's interested in what data already exists for a particular area. And then finally, just to mention briefly that we have also invested directly in the sector through both our Pentland Firth and Orkney Waters Enabling Actions programme and also a direct investment into the Maygen Phase 1A project. So on to where we are today with Wave and Tidal. I appreciate this map is a little small. You can download all of these from our website. And across the UK, there are currently 40 agreements covering quite a wide range of different types. Within Wales, we've got 6 projects at the moment, 2 demonstration zones, 1 engineering demonstration project, which is the TEL Delta Stream device, and then 3 commercial demonstration projects. And these are, at the moment, there's 5 tidal projects, which are the 5 shown there, and then the yellow South Pembrokeshire demo zone wave project. So in terms of how to access seabed at the moment, if anybody here is needing new seabed, the first thing I'd say is Wales has 2 excellent demonstration zones. Both of the companies developing those projects are here and I think are speaking later. So these are, there's one for tidal, there's one for wave. The idea here is that we've granted rights to third parties to manage a fairly large area of seabed, and they can then issue subleases for projects of up to 30 megawatts. I think there's an indicative capacity of around 100 megawatts per zone, and the intention is that by allowing projects to develop in the same area, there's opportunities to share learning, build a supply chain in that area, and also sort of to the zones themselves should be representative of sort of good resource that you'd find elsewhere around these regions. We do realise that some people are looking for projects that they're not quite ready to go to the demonstration zones. They are reasonably far offshore with fairly strong resource, and some people need something a little bit earlier stage than that. So in response to feedback, we've opened up a leasing opportunity for projects of up to 3 megawatts. In contrast to previous leasing rounds, this one is a sort of an ongoing open process where you can apply whatever time is right for your own project. You, if successful, would be granted a 25-year lease, but prior to that you'd have an option agreement for up to 5 years, followed by the 25-year lease. And it's targeting low capacity, low competition projects. And that's one of the reasons we're able to offer it through this process rather than a more competitive leasing round. The assessment areas are similar to what we've looked at in the past for those of you who have been through our previous leasing rounds. So we look for the organisation's commitment, both in terms of its business objectives and also financial commitment, that you have the available necessary capability and technical expertise available either in-house or outsourced, strong health and safety management systems, and also that the project itself is reasonably well firmed up. We're looking for people who have selected the site, they know what technology they want to deploy, they've thought through the consenting and grid issues that they're going to face, and so they can sort of see a route map to being able to deploy that technology in that location within the 5-year option period that we'd be granting them. So if anyone wants more information about any of that, then come and talk to me. My colleague Rosie is here as well, somewhere in the audience. Talk to the demonstration zone third-party managers, or if you're interested in the up to 3 megawatt leasing, there's a guidance document which you can get by registering on our website or emailing us at that address.